Can an iPad replace a laptop? The answer is yes, but also no.
What?
Apple states it will never happen, but for some people it actually has, whether Apple likes it or not. This is because not everyone is a video editor or a coder and uses a computer professionally. And when you think about it, outside your area of work, what do you use a computer for? Use it for typing documents, watching movies, casual gaming, browsing the internet, and just storing important files. The only caveat is it will cost you to make it into a computer. It will cost you a mouse, a keyboard, or a case that can make it into a keyboard and mouse, just like this. These are not cheap, and you probably have to invest a couple $100s to do so. But the fact is that you could use an iPad like a laptop and then convert it into a tablet with ease is extremely satisfying. This is something that Apple laptop can't do, even though other brands out there are already doing this. But we're talking about Apple here. They play by their own rules, so they could do whatever they want. However, my wife is a great example of someone who could easily replace her computer/laptop with an iPad. She's someone whose job and lifestyle doesn't demand heavy computer work. So I'll have my lovely wife come in so she can answer some questions so you can see from her perspective what it's like to replace her laptop with an iPad.
Your big head's in the way. Just kidding.
Does it look good?
It looks perfect.
Okay.
I look perfect. You look better than me. I look like an egghead.
You want to be on this side?
Yeah, it's my better side.
Oh my God.
And action.
So I have my lovely wife with me, Maria. She's going to answer 3 questions for us on using the iPad. So my first question to you, babe, is what do you use the iPad for?
So at this moment, I'm really only using it for like entertainment, like all the streaming, like YouTube,
Hulu,
Netflix,
HBO.
yes, all that stuff, and like the
Apple
internet,
TV,
yeah, internet, and to store my files. That's it.
What about what you used it for, like when you were becoming a nurse?
Right. So I mean, a lot of Zoom classes,
Mm-hmm.
taking courses online, and that's pretty much it.
Okay, sounds good. So pretty basic uses, that everyday uses that you could use or once in a while use. What took the most getting used to at first, using an iPad over a computer?
So one, the keyboard, how it's a lot smaller. It's not a full-size keyboard, so it's like different. Your fingers don't.
You
It's
feel
not the
cramped
same. Yes,
together?
It's very
Okay.
different, like a little T-Rex. and then also when you're on a Zoom meeting, the camera's on the side and not in front of you, so it's like over here instead of focused on your face in the center.
So you just look really weird.
It's just off to
on
the
Zoom.
sides. You have to make sure you're like centered.
I can see that. Yeah, the newest basic iPad has it up here, but for some reason the Pros and the Airs don't have that. So that makes sense. Cool. All right, my last question is there anything you can't do on the iPad that you were able to do on the computer before? And if so, what?
Not really. It does everything that I need it to do right now, so I think it's good.
Perfect. So would you say this has completely replaced a computer for you?
Right. Just minus the fact that I guess like when I do need to do an Excel file, I have to use your computer because I haven't learned how to do it on my iPad yet. But
Okay.
right now, yeah.
Yeah, just a little different interface using Excel on an iPad compared to a computer. So that makes sense. You just feel more comfortable.
I think it's more like a comfortability thing. Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay, perfect. Well, that's it. That's the 3 questions I have. Hopefully anyone else out there that is similar to you where you don't use it professionally can actually see that you can use an iPad to replace your computer. So that's it. Thank you. Now let's discuss when an iPad cannot replace a laptop, and that's when it's being used for professional use. This is mainly because it's on a completely different operating system. The iPad has more than enough power to perform any function a computer can because it uses the same M series chips. It's just that the iPad OS is holding back the full capabilities of apps using the iPad. For example, if you are a professional video editor, then unfortunately the iPad is not going to give you the same experience capabilities as a computer can. You can still edit videos for a typical Instagram reel or a quick YouTube video using apps like CapCut or LumaVision. But if you are going to do commercial grade editing, then the apps available on the iPad fall short, mostly due to the main video editing softwares like Adobe and Final Cut Pro are not being compatible with iPad OS right now. Same thing goes for coders, graphic designers, and other professionals. If the iPad can run on Mac OS, then there is no doubt that the iPad can replace a laptop for everyone, but unfortunately that is not the case now. Other reason the iPad falls short for professionals is the battery life. In comparison, The battery life of an iPad is only 10 hours of just web surfing, so even less when used for professional work. Just the web browsing alone is 30 to 40% less than the MacBook Airs. And for someone who needs to use their device remotely for the day, will find using the iPad very frustrating if you are running labor-intensive programs. The battery life will dissolve right before your eyes, and you'll find yourself charging it all day, which defeats the purpose of remote. Another downfall of the iPad is its limited ports. The MacBook Air has a port for its MagSafe charger, 2 Thunderbolt ports, and a 3.5mm headphone jack. And the MacBook Pro has MagSafe 3 charging port, 3 Thunderbolt 4 ports, a 3.5mm headphone jack, an SD card slot, and an HDMI port. And the iPad Pro only has 1 Thunderbolt USB 4 port. Therefore, you're extremely limited in your external connections. And yes, you could purchase an adapter that has more ports, but as a computer alone, the iPad falls very short. Lastly, the camera angle. For anyone that takes meetings with clients and needs to look professional, having the iPad's camera on the side makes it look very awkward, whereas the laptops have the camera in the middle, making it look like you are looking right at them. I believe this will change in the future with iPad Pros, as the iPad 10, the most basic iPad, has already been updated as a horizontal camera. And guys, me, myself, and our agency will fall short for this because we use our computers for professional use. I work all day on a computer and use a CRM software, which stands for Customer Relationship Management Software. And typically I have a ton of tabs open at one time. So for me, this will be a complete nightmare using an iPad for this because first, most CRMs don't have an iPad app. However, I will say that the iPad has improved in multitasking with the introduction of its Stage Manager. So if you spend hours a day on a computer, then iPad OS would probably frustrate you and you will end up buying a laptop. So if that's you, then stick with the laptop, you will be happier. However, I truly believe you could definitely replace your laptop with an iPad because again, not everyone is a video editor, a coder, etc. So if you are someone who casually surfs the web, uses it for writing documents, taking notes, and not using it extensively for professional work, then I would get the iPad over the laptop. And that's it, guys. If you guys are interested in which iPad you should choose, go ahead and click on the video on the screen. Other than that, please
like and subscribe
so we can push this video out to others like you. Peace.